you know. Whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. Oh, what's up, family? We are live. We are live, and I'm coming at you with 5, ladies and gentlemen. It is the last show. It is Random Topic Thursdays, the hottest live stream in the cosmos of social media, ladies and gentlemen. And here on YouTube, today is the last Thursday of 2023. And as always, we are joined by Mr. Sean James, author of The Man Crisis. Man, I can't believe 2023 has gone by so quickly. I still remember when it was 2020, when we were actually starting this show, and we had COVID. Obviously, is what increased my at least workload, my ethic to actually start doing live streams, and that's what brought me out here to you all. And I'm here and joined by the legendary Sean James, author of The Man Crisis, The Woman Crisis, and any other crisis that you might be going through. He's probably written a book on it. He's written so many. He's written over 75 books, but he's also the author of John Haynes series. John Haynes, the man with nothing to lose. Sean, good evening.
Good evening, Gavin. How are you?
Merry New Year. I'm doing fine, man. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you.
Merry Christmas.
No, Merry Christmas. Okay.
Yeah,
That
all
was
that.
last week.
Well,
Or this week.
Christmas is all to me. Well, as Christmas, the 12 days of Christmas, it lasts through Epiphany, supposedly. But yeah, Christmas was Monday actually. So I hope you had a good Christmas. You got
I
everything.
had a good one.
All right, you get everything you wanted.
Yeah.
That's good. If you want to do a plug-in, Sean, you can. Also,
Well, the SJS Direct 2023 books are now available on Amazon.com in paperback. And you can get John Haynes 1987 and John Haynes Godbreaker available in paperback and Kindle format on Amazon.com and other online booksellers. And you can start to get the pre-orders for the SJS Direct 2024 books starting next year.
all right. Sean, one of the biggest pieces of news that happened, I wanted to bring attention to this because this has been going viral on social media. We have the 2024 election season gearing up. They're already hitting the campaign trail, the Republican candidates, especially, and one former governor of Nikki Haley had gotten into some hot water over some remarks she said out of South Carolina. Nikki Haley was asked a question about how did the Civil War start, and this was her response. I'm going to play for all of you right now. I want you to hear it and what she had to say.
Tonight. Yeah, critics argue she an insufficient answer to a question about the Civil War.
Oh, by the way, because before I get flagged or anything, I'm gonna have to mute Sean for a second because like, let me just say fair use, ladies and gentlemen. This is purposes of educational and news background. I do not own the rights to the video, but I am able to share and broadcast this video because it is used for commentary purposes as well as news reporting and research, as well as educational purposes. And it is fair use in the United States, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead.
GOP rivals try to catch up to the former president before voting begins. Missteps could be detrimental. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley is addressing backlash over her answer to a question at a town hall in New Hampshire Wednesday night.
I want to see yours a good thing on the cause of the Civil War.
I mean, I think it always comes down to the role of government and what the rights of the people are.
It's astonishing to me that you answer that question without mentioning the word slavery.
President Joe Biden joining the conversation on X, saying it was about slavery. And Haley's challengers jumping on the opportunity to set themselves apart.
This shows this is not a candidate that's ready for prime time.
Now Haley is clarifying her response.
We know the Civil War was about slavery, but it was also more than that. It was about the freedoms of every individual.
Meanwhile, the frontrunner could be catching a break for now after some
I shouldn't say, oh my God.
The Supreme Court has officially been asked to weigh in on whether Trump can appear on the primary ballot after a Colorado court disqualified him over insurrection claims.
I hope that it could speak with one voice, and that voice should be to reject Colorado's decision and to protect our democratic values.
Now that the Colorado GOP has appealed, Trump's name will almost certainly appear on the state ballot unless the Supreme Court declines to take the case or issues an expedited ruling confirming his removal. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox 30.
So on top of that, President Biden commented on it. He tweeted it was about slavery. In response to that, according to his the other Twitter feed for Biden headquarters, this is from his page. Although I don't think he handles his. I don't think Joe Biden handles his Twitter. There's someone else who does that for him. But brother, the Black Authority responded and said, and so is reparations, Joe, in capital. Parenthesis, ladies and gentlemen. Nikki Haley is a dumbass heifer. That's what Danielle says. I think what she's doing is gaslighting. She's obviously gaslighting for the conservative rednecks who will vote for her. Let's be honest, Nikki Haley has as much chance of getting to be president as Kamala Harris. If they ran together, if Kamala Harris and Nikki Haley ran even together, I think it would be the first time in history that there would be a tie in the presidential race. Or
Well, I think the third party candidate would actually win at that point.
a third party candidate probably would win. Yeah. But I think it'd be better if we had a tie and the White House was just vacant, because what we've had in recent years has just not been good. But Nikki Haley was basically doing what I call, she's gaslighting for the rednecks, for the conservatives. This is a woman who is the former governor of South Carolina. They were the last state that had that Confederate flag waving on top of the Capitol. You remember that? And it was only after the killings of the 9 individuals in Mother Emanuel Church that she agreed to take the flag down. That's what we're dealing with. So she knows damn well what is about slavery. And I'm not, and you all know how I feel about President Biden per se. I think what they're trying to do, here's the thing too, the Democrats are very desperate right now, Sean. They notice, especially across the country in recent local elections, a la like here in Louisiana, all the Republicans took every major position in state government, the governor's race, the attorney general, secretary of state, always been Republican. The Democrats have not offered anything to black people, and really to people in really not just to black people. I think to the American people in general, because they have just been frustrated at what they've seen as this increase, for instance, with the migrant crisis that has affected the economy. It's affected our border, especially our borders, but also the living conditions. Homeless people, the homeless population has also increased here in cities like New Orleans and Chicago. We have Washington, D.C., at Los Angeles. I can go on and on. And I think all of that is playing a factor. Now, you noticed when I showed the video that Donald Trump, according to the poll, was leading by 50 among Iowa GOP caucus goers. The Iowa caucus is what starts these elections. Donald Trump, just look at that. He's winning by 52%. I'd give Haley more chance than Ramaswamy. Hell, I even give Doug Christie more chance than Ramaswamy. But Donald Trump has a 52% chance of winning this caucus. Now, yeah, it's their right to run and so forth, but for her to answer and say it was not about, she basically avoided the topic of slavery. Everybody knew what she was doing. So she has as much chance as Herbert Hoover of winning the White House. And I also want to point out, when I talk about the Democrats being desperate, Sean, up in New York, where your Reverend Al Sharpton lives, they apparently signed some type of documentation on reparations. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that empty symbolic gesture that means nothing.
Okay. Now, Tariq Nasheed was talking about it. It happened last week. And basically, I think what this is, ladies and gentlemen, because Kathy Hochul signed it, I want to read it. This is nothing more than a study. Like they did in California. California got close to actually awarding reparations, but they didn't. They recommended it, but the governor Newsom shut it down, right?
Yep.
So that's Kathy Hochul. That's Al Sharpton. That is also a New York State Senator James. I'm trying to see if this is in order. James Sanders. That's Assemblyman Carl Hesty. That's Reverend Al. That's Michelle Sogles. Right there is Majority Leader of the New York Senate, Andrea Stewart Cousins. And next to her is Dr. Uriho Williams, founder of the Racial Justice Initiative at the University of St. Thomas. So all of this, and that's Kevin D. Hochul. It's a study. It means nothing. But Sean, this stuff about slavery, this thing that's been going on, what do you think of what you've heard so far?
Well, what I heard was this Nikki Haley just being the disingenuous person she is. And she basically shows me that she really doesn't understand history. Now, as somebody who has studied the Civil War, yes, slavery was a part of it, but the overall foundation of what started the Civil War was all about the ideals of the industrial North and the agribusiness of the South. And the agribusiness of the South was in a major state of decline because Britain was no longer taking American imports and were creating their own empires in India and places like Taiwan, and well, not Taiwan at the time, and China. And as they were making their colonies in those areas, they no longer needed American goods, but the South wanted to continue maintaining its agribusiness, and they needed that slavery to be a part of their old Southern tradition. Now, these plantations basically couldn't even afford to stay in business. They were basically this close to going broke at the time because they wanted to maintain their tradition, and they wanted to maintain this tradition even though the North had created this industrial revolution. This is what somebody who was aware of what the Civil War was all about would be able to talk about. But Nikki Haley, because she doesn't know American history, basically came up with that cornball answer. And that cornball answer basically showed me how out of touch she was as related to the office she was running for. She says she was running for the president of the United States, but we clearly see someone who doesn't understand what the role of the president is as related to the executive branch of government, because a person who's ready for the executive branch could tell you what the Civil War was about, just like I did a minute ago. And Nikki Haley shows me she is not fit for office, because if you don't know what the Civil War was all about, that basically, in my mind, disqualifies you for that office and disqualifies you for that office, because if you cannot answer clearly what the Civil War is all about, and this is something a 10th grader should be able to do, or an 11th grader should be able to do, then you're not fit for office. I mean, this woman doesn't even know the basics about the Civil War, and here she is wanting to run the country. And this is why she is far behind in the polls, because she's just not qualified for the job. And when I look at Nikki Haley, she's outside of just being a woman. She has nothing to offer as related to the office. Now, with Kathy Hochul's comedy hour that she did as related to her inquiry or whatever she's going to do, again, this is an empty symbolic gesture that she surrounded herself around with a bunch of black bootlicks for, and did this to try to make it look like she's interested in trying to provide reparations for black people. Well, if Kathy Hochul was so concerned about black people, then why isn't she trying to help all of the homeless New Yorkers who are predominantly black as related to this migrant crisis all across New York State? Critical question I gotta ask your Kathy Hochul, who says, oh, I want to help black people with reparations. No, she sees the blue party basically crumbling as related to support with black voters who are tired of all the BS and can see through these facades. And the main reason why we're seeing through these facades is because it's new black media in control of the narrative, and we're not falling for these empty symbolic gestures. Maybe next time Kathy Hochul will come out to one of these talk shows and play a saxophone, but we've already seen that done with Bill Clinton, and we are past the days of these empty gestures where you surround yourself with a bunch of empty suits, make it look like you did something, get some easy votes from some gullible baby boomers. That time is over as it stands, and it's over because it's clear that these candidates are not interested in giving us tangibles, and since they're not interested in giving us tangibles, then we have no reason to vote for them. And we have all the reason to stay home, because if you're not bringing anything serious about tangibles to black people, then we're not taking our booties to the poll to vote for more of the same, because why should we go out here and hope for change when there is no hope of anything changing? No, we should just stay home because we're not getting anything out of this deal at all anyway.
Absolutely nothing out of this deal. And I think that, well, that's Kathy Hochul with that bill. I don't think anybody, I honestly don't think anybody's falling for that. I would be honest at this point, from what we have seen, especially with the numbers, people voting and so forth, I think a lot of people are not falling for the Democratic Party's tactics. I find. Do you?
No, nobody's falling for it because we've already
We've
seen
already
them
said it
do.
for the last couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look what
Definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result. I
Now,
mean, we keep supporting the same candidates who offer the same amount of nothing is completely foolish.
Now, if you're talking about, well, I mean, certain situations, like you're talking about certain seats like AOC getting reelected or Warnock getting reelected, those are things, yeah, I can expect that because those areas the Democrats have had a very hard stronghold on. But come the presidency, especially what's happened in the last 4 years, I see a lot of people basically taking their frustrations out, and not on Donald Trump. I'll just put it that way at this point. The tide is turning. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen, right now. Hit that notification bell. Now, I wanted to talk about this. This was a tragic story that I want to talk about with everyone. This happened out in 2019. A toddler by the name of Daniel Griner Jr., 24 months, was killed by his mother, who was just sentenced, Nikki Griner. She was killed by his mother, who I'm just gonna play the news article for you all. His mother is a former YouTuber, by the way, but I just want to warn you, the details, ladies and gentlemen, are very graphic on this story. So viewer discretion is advised. I'm not showing it. There's no pictures or anything like that. But this is from 2019. She was actually 24 years old at the time. She's 28 right now. But I want y'all to listen to what happened in this story. It's very sad.
It just breaks my heart because I never expected that from her.
Heartbreak in Cumberland County. One day after a toddler is reported missing, his remains are found and his mother is charged. Police say it is a case of first-degree murder. Hello and good evening. I'm Joe Holden. Police in Bridgeton put out a call for help to find 23-month-old Daniel Griner yesterday evening. Tonight, there is a tragic turn in the investigation. Eyewitness News reporter Dan Koob is here with the details.
The remains of 23-month-old Daniel Griner Jr. were found in Bridgeton, New Jersey around 3 a.m. Saturday morning in the yard of his home, according to Cumberland County prosecutors. This after Daniel's mother, Nikira, reported him missing Friday afternoon. Prosecutors have now charged the 24-year-old Griner with first-degree murder, endangering the welfare of...
Fair use, by the way, fair use. I got to interrupt so they don't give me another copyright strike.
A child, desecration of human remains, and tampering with evidence. She's currently being held at Cumberland County Jail. A family friend who wished to not be identified says she's in shock.
Hearing this, as soon as I seen, like, it went on my Facebook, that's the first thing I saw. The first thing I saw, and I started pacing back and forth, wishing it's not true.
Neighbors were also stunned to find out why authorities were working through the night just down the street from their front door.
Sad. Like, we was very shocked. I have 2 boys of my own, and I can't imagine something like that happening or a mother doing that to her own child. It's very sad and disturbing at the same time.
You know this family intimately.
Yes, I do. I love them. I'll do anything for them. They're everything. And just hearing this broke my heart. And my husband confirming it, and now you confirming it, it's hard.
A preliminary hearing for Griner is expected to take place Monday. In Bridgeton, Dan Koob, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
So on this past week, what happened in this case, and I'm going to give you the details of this graphic, is that Nikki Griner was a YouTuber, was married to a guy who was a nurse practitioner. His name is Daniel Griner. And I believe she has 2 children, elder children already with this man. Her 24-month-old wouldn't eat his food according to the reports. And she became so frustrated, supposedly. Well, I'm not going to say supposedly because she's been convicted, but she breaks her son's skull in 70 pieces. This is graphic. And then tries to cover up the crime by cooking him. Then she buries his remains in the backyard and does a phony 911 call to the police stating that while she was out walking, her son was kidnapped. So I want y'all to listen to this.
911, where's emergency? Hello? Hello? Can you tell me where you're at? Hello? Can you hear me? Hi, this is 911. What's going on there? What's the address? Are you at a house? Are you in the street? What? You're hiding? Okay. Are you in a house or are you on the street? You're on the street? All right. Are you at a corner, like an intersection? Okay. All right. Don't move where you're at. Okay. Who are you hiding from? All right. What's your name? I need you to listen, ma'am, I need you to try to slow down, okay? What is your name? Okay, listen, I'm really trying to understand you, but it's really difficult while you're crying. Try to take a deep breath, slow your breathing down, and tell me what's going on so I can help you. Do you know where you're at all? What? You're walking to the store? What's the name of the store? Walgreens? And what happened to you? All right, listen, don't hang up the phone, okay? I'm going to get the police on the phone. Don't hang up.
Y'all just notice though in that call, did y'all notice that it was a pause when she called?
Bridgeton Police. It's County. I have a female on the line. It was originally a 911 hang up. I called it back, and it's a female that's crying. Said that she's hiding. Her GPS put her at South Giles and New Street, near that intersection there. Ma'am, are you still on the line? It sounds like she disconnected again. She is having some sort of emergency, but I can't understand what she was saying through the crying. She said something about her baby and that she was walking towards Walgreens when it happened.
All right. I'll out there.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye.
Bye. All right. Do you know where you're at right now? Can you describe what you see around you?
I was running.
Who are you running from? All right. Where are you right now? What do you see around you? Do you see a house number? You're in where? The bushes of where? Are you on Giles Street? Do you know? I'm gonna call 911 back so I can get a better location on you. All right, give me the call 911 back. 911 emergency. All right, the phone. Okay. Are you injured? Do you need an ambulance? Were you jumped?
I think you put me on the ground.
All right. Is your child injured too, or no?
Be alone in my baby. He's crying.
Okay. Your baby's injured as well?
I'm on top of him.
How old is he? How old is he?
Up here.
Do you see the police?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to start an ambulance over there as well, okay? And how old is your son? 8 months. Is he conscious? Okay, and you fell on his head, ma'am?
So, at her sentencing, Superior Court Judge George H. Gangloff grew emotional as he spoke Tuesday about the severity of Griner's actions, finding that the killing and destruction of Daniel's body were separate criminal acts. In addition to the life sentence for murder, he sentenced her to a consecutive 7-year term on the desecration of a corpse charge that she was facing. He called her crimes beyond comprehension. Now, Griner was an aspiring YouTube personality who posted about fashion and other topics. Gangloff described evidence from the case in the form of a phone call Griner made from jail in which she told a family member that the number of views on her YouTube account since her arrest made her happy. You knew one day you would get the attention you wanted, but you didn't think it was going to be like this, the judge told her. She received credit for time served that she spent 1,473 days in jail already, and she's remained in jail since her arrest in 2019. But let's be honest, credit for time served on a life sentence is nothing. They actually offered her a plea deal for 30 years had she taken it, but she declined to do so because, according to the reports, she stated that she didn't intentionally kill her son. So she would have had a chance to actually get paroled on this and get out of jail. But she didn't take it. And since she went to trial and gambled and lost, this is what she's dealing with. And Daniel's aunt, Nicole Bruno, said she remains baffled by Griner's actions. How could you purposely do that to your own baby? You have never shown any remorse for what you have done. You tried to erase my nephew like he never existed. Just a tragedy for that kid. Sean, I'll let you have it.
I thought Susan Smith was evil, but this one is on another level. I mean, this woman basically murdered her child because the child wasn't eating. And instead of trying to find out why the child wasn't eating, she took out her frustrations on this child by murdering him and then just destroying his body in one of the most evil ways you could think of. And then after she does all this, what she does is go out and call 911 to say that the child was kidnapped. I mean, I haven't seen anything this evil since Susan Smith. And this woman has to be on a level of depraved indifference to go out here and participate in these heinous acts, then go on 911 and put on the extra salty snot bubble tears and make it look like something else happened when she knew all along that she did. Now, I've heard about how women lie, but this is just sociopathic behavior and psychopathic behavior that this woman participated in to murder a child like this, and she deserves every part of the prison sentence she got. I mean, if there was a death penalty, she would deserve it, because what she did was just pure evil, and it's the kind of evil that turns my stomach to think about, because this is just depraved indifference. Took this child's life for just her own frustrations. And it's like something out of my book, The Woman Crisis, as related to the chapter Murder and the Woman Crisis, how a lot of these women will participate in murder and then act like absolutely nothing happened or look for ways to justify what happened. That's what happens as related to this case. And there isn't a jailhouse big enough to leave this woman in. I mean, again, as I've stated before, if there was ever a case for the death penalty, this would be the one, because this woman is a monster. and she's a monster who was more interested in attention on YouTube than she was in caring for her children. That's just how sick and twisted this woman is. And if any woman was out here, I mean, this is a textbook case of what I talk about in The Woman Crisis. That's related to how twisted a lot of women have become. And this woman basically is just warped and twisted and just absolutely depraved, because what she did to this child, no mother would want to have done to their child. This woman is a monster, and I'm hoping that she rots in that jail cell until they take her out in a casket.
Well, that is actually what's going to happen, because she was given life without the possibility of parole. Reason being also is that this was the murder of a toddler. So when the victim is under age, they inflict stricter penalties. But she did this and then faked the 911 call. So people say, well, it could have been mental issues. I don't think this was mental issues.
It's not mental.
No. I don't think this was mental issues. I think she just killed someone. She killed the child she didn't want to take care of because she wanted to run the streets. And honestly and truthfulness, I think it's also a reflection of what's going on in her marriage, because she was married to this white gentleman and probably was frustrated. Jada Black was talking about this. She probably was frustrated with her marriage with him and took it out on the easiest target possible, the one that can't defend himself, which is the child. He's his namesake as well. So that's a way, I guess, to get revenge on her husband, to do that. But my understanding too, because here's the thing, she has other kids. She has 2 other children with the same man. So she has ruined the lives of, she's not only killed this toddler, she's ruined the lives of her entire family, her other children. How are you going to go? You going through life knowing that your mother killed your brother? That's a shame. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm looking at this picture. She's actually a very beautiful woman. But on the inside, pure ugliness, evil. To do something like that. I do want to make a correction. This apparently happened in February of 2019. It looks like the trial. Now by the way, that's the husband there. Looks like the trial was conducted in February, where she was sentenced. But I had found out about this story recently. So she was offered a plea deal in 2019. They offered her a 30-year prison sentence in exchange for pleading guilty to the murder charge. So she would have actually had a chance to get out had she taken it, but she gambled and lost. So, terrible story, certainly. But may the soul of this child, Daniel Griner Jr., may he rest in peace in the arms of God and the angels and the saints. Amen. So, yeah, tragedy. All right. Last thing I want to talk about, hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Sean, just curious, do you have plans to tell us what you have plans on what your live stream is going to be about tomorrow? Or are you still debating what the topic is?
Tomorrow's live stream is going to be featuring special guest Mr. Chris from Chris and Company. And we are going to go into a part 2 of mainstream media versus new black media. And we're going to be talking about how not new black media has to get ready for the war that's coming in 2024, because mainstream media is going to look to try to wage war against new black media, because Joe Biden is doing poorly in the polls. And we're trying to let everybody know what's getting ready to come in the upcoming year.
Okay. Sounds like it's going to be
So you
good.
guys can tune into that at 10 p.m. And we'll be going in depth on that subject at 10 p.m. So everybody, that's what we're going to be talking about. Mainstream media versus B1, new black media, and the upcoming media war in 2024.
Speaking of media war, new black media, let's talk about this big news, Sean. Tasha K, is being sued. A YouTuber, Tasha K, is being sued by comedian Kevin Hart and his former assistant over allegedly making an extortion attempt on the comedian. Tasha K, whose real name is Latasha Kibi, has yet to pay off a $4 million judgment for defaming Cardi B. That is actually true. So on the day after Christmas, Kevin Hart filed a lawsuit against his former assistant, whose name is Misha Shakes, and Tasha K, accusing them of spearheading a scheme to extort $250,000 by threatening to run an interview that Tasha K did with Misha Shakes. According to the complaint, Shakes made false statements during a conversation that included Hart facing criminal charges over a sexual encounter. The lawsuit, which I've had a chance to go over and look at, was a complaint that was filed in the Superior Court of Los Angeles, Superior Court of the State of California in Los Angeles Central District. The damages alleged include civil extortion, breach of contract, intentional interference with contractual relations, invasion of privacy, public disclosure of private acts, and defamation. So Hart basically, if we remember back in 2017, Kevin Hart has been accused, or he admitted that he cheated on his wife with a woman who was allegedly trying to extort him. I remember this. Hart was also previously married to Tori Hart, where he had admitted in his marriage that he had committed infidelity. And this new wife that he has, this is his second wife. He's admitted apparently that he did alleging some acts. Now, whenever I come online, especially, I always make sure, number one, especially when I'm talking news like I'm talking to you, I always say if there's something I don't know about, I always say I'm not sure. We will continue to research. So I use terms like allegedly and possibly to avoid any type of legal ramifications. And you're seeing that here. Aniko Parrish is the new wife. So Kevin Hart is going through this lawsuit because Tasha K, supposedly, according to the lawsuit, had sent Kevin Hart a letter demanding $250,000 else she was going to publish a damaging interview with his ex-assistant. Now, why he says public disclosure of private acts is because there was a non-disclosure agreement that was signed by Shakes, who was employed with Heartbeat Productions from 2017 to 2020 as his personal assistant. Shakes said there were unidentified loopholes in the confidentiality and non-disclosure agreements that enable her to escape the consequences of her brazenly violating her promises to plaintiffs, the suit says. The NDA provided for her to be paid $90,000 over 3 years. In an interview, she claimed that Hart was a serial cheater and gambling addict who paid an associate millions to take DUI charges for him. It was published in December on Tasha K's website, which can only be accessed for a monthly subscription fee. As for allegedly defamatory statement, the suit only points to statements regarding Hart and certain legal disputes in which he had been involved, including that he recorded a video of a sexual encounter and he faced criminal charges regarding that supposed incident. So to prove defamation, and just FYI, Hart will have to prove that Shakes acted with a level of malice or recklessly necessary to meet the high standard of public figures to allege defamation. So that also includes an intent to harm with prior knowledge that what was said was false or was said in a reckless disregard for the truth. Several defamation suits they list here, including ones filed by Donald Trump and Sarah Palin, have failed to meet the standard. Yes, defamation requires a certain standard. There's a high standard that's set for public figures versus unknown figures, FYI, wink, wink, in which Hart has to prove that she acted recklessly or with a level of malice with an intent to cause harm. Clearly, from looking at this, and they actually have the lawsuit on the Hollywood Reporter's website from Scribbit. You could actually look right here. They have, it looks like it's a well thought out lawsuit. They have the prayer for relief in it. They also list this confidentiality agreement when it was signed back in 2017. It's 3 pages with by Kevin Hart's production company. Kevin Hart as well as his production company is listed as the plaintiffs as well in this suit. He also has in this suit the attorney whose name is Dante Mills, also sent a cease and desist letter out to Tasha K to stop her activity. And I mean, he went into a 2-page detail telling her you're in violation of the law, you're trying to extort money. Y'all can actually read this too online if you want. Tasha K, of course, is being sued had been sued by Cardi B for defamation as well, in which she's ordered to pay $4 million, which she's never paid. Sean, I don't really follow even Tasha K per se. I know who she is, but it seems like, and this is my opinion, that she hasn't learned a lesson.
Well, I would have to say that she hasn't learned her lesson, and she really doesn't know how to operate in the entertainment business. Now, this is the, I believe, 3rd lawsuit that has been filed against Tasha K, because R. Kelly has filed a lawsuit against her, according to some reports. And it's clear to me that she really doesn't understand how to present herself on this social media platform. Now, Tasha K has been on YouTube for several years, and she doesn't really understand the basics of being on social media, and that you cannot make defamatory statements against individuals on social media. Now, this is why when I make videos about the entertainment industry, I always, like you, use words like alleged or words like possible, because I want to make sure that we are going by what was reported, and this cannot be used to be said that I'm defaming anyone or slandering anyone. Moreover, I also put, when I'm using images, the copyright disclaimer, or I say it's under fair use, because when you do this, you are basically protecting yourself from any sort of lawsuit from one of these individuals as related to any claim that they make. And I also, to further reinforce it, put links to the articles that where I got these sources from, to show that this is a report based on legitimate media sources that have already been substantiating the data. Now, Tasha K's big mistake was going out and making statements as related to these celebrities and making claims about celebrities that she knew were not substantiated. Now, the word of an assistant, that can be something that, yes, it'll generate a lot of buzz, but the whole thing is it's not substantiated, and it leaves you vulnerable to being open to a lawsuit for defamation. And you would think after the judgment she received in the Cardi B case, your Tasha K would treat a bit more carefully. Unfortunately, she continues to participate in sloppiness as related to her work, and that sloppiness is what's leading to more lawsuits from celebrities, because basic operation when it comes to any video on celebrities, and I recently just did one about Taraji P. Henson, and you want to go out and say alleged, you want to say possibly. These are the kind of words that keep you out of a lawsuit. Moreover, you want to have articles from legitimate sources to substantiate things, but Tasha K continues to operate very sloppy, And this is why she keeps getting sued. And it's just ridiculous. Again, these are public figures. And anybody, there are a bunch of YouTubers who make reports on these things, but she's going to go on the word of an assistant who possibly signed an NDA and cannot really say anything without breaching that NDA. And you're going to report on this without asking, hey, did you sign an NDA with this individual? I mean, that's the first question I'm asking someone who gives me information about a celebrity. Did you sign an NDA? Moreover, do you have anything to substantiate this? Because I'm not reporting. Yeah, well, it's not enough. You need to have some sort of documentation to let me know, okay,
you need a lawyer.
Yeah, you need something to back it up, because you just can't say anything about someone, because that's going to be considered to be defamation and slander. So I'm listening to Tasha K, and I'm looking at somebody who was moving real sloppy, and moving sloppy because she's so caught up in getting clicks and views and her feelings about clicks and views that she's not taking care of her business as related to the media that she's reporting and the stories and content she's creating on social media and how it's impacting her, because she had to, as some reports say, and again, I'm going to say some reports say, had to leave the U.S. because of the Cardi B judgment. And this is the latest one in showing me that when it comes to Tasha K, she's not really good at the business of social media, and her lack of business acumen is the reason why she keeps getting jammed up.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I said she needed a lawyer. Yeah, that's some questions you're going to ask, because first off, if you signed an NDA, and well, by all accounts, just looking at it, and I can't verify who this Shake's woman is, according to the report. Obviously, I'm just going off what the article states and what's in the lawsuit. It looks like there appears to be a non-disclosure agreement that was signed. And if there was one signed, then it would have been wise or behooved her, number one, that if she was going to do any type of interview with anyone about Kevin Hart, she should have gotten consult from an attorney, especially one in contract law, who can read this and understand, hey, you may be into some trouble if you go into Tasha K's show with this. And by the way, she has been sued multiple times. So now you're being sued under this. She's being sued as well as her companies. And she keeps getting these lawsuits. I'm, as a supporter of the First Amendment, you have to be very careful what you say, though, still, because while you have free speech, you also have to realize there are consequences to everything you say. Actions have consequences, so do words. And it looks like she is in trouble on this thing. $250,000 she wanted allegedly to, and of course I haven't seen any letter of that, but if she sent this letter, here's another thing, Sean, by her sending the extortion letter supposedly to Kevin Hart, she's opened herself up to criminal charges as well under the penal code, according to what the attorney has even stated in his letter that he sent her. He sent a cease and desist letter warning her about this, because in certain situations, especially and this is out in California, in certain states and as well as in federal law, if you remember what happened with Bill Cosby and that woman Autumn Jackson, the reason she went to jail and she got arrested was because she sent the fax asking Bill Cosby for money, otherwise I'm going to go to the National Enquirer and say you're my dad. And the FBI arrested her. They also arrested 3 other individuals, one of whom became her husband, because they found that she sent the fax basically trying to get money. And that's not how that works. If she had an attorney, for instance, Sean, you hire an attorney, and that's the point I'm getting to you. If you wanted to take legal action on someone, or if you wanted to negotiate a settlement or do anything, then typically attorneys can speak for someone like this. But honestly, attorneys should not, in truthfulness, take on any type of case that they know, number one, with reasonable certainty, they're not likely to win. And that is fraudulent, because it seems here she was supposedly trying to commit a money scheme on Kevin Hart. That's what these facts look to me. That's what this information looks like to me, I should say, because I don't know the whole story of it. And of course, it can be authenticated in court. But I think there is some truth to what's going on to Kevin Hart. I think looks like might have been being extorted. So, yeah.
Yep. But it just shows me she's just sloppy about her business.
That she is. I did have one. It's not a topic I was going to talk about, but one thing I wanted to ask you about. Have you been following this thing with TD Jakes?
No, I haven't. I have been too busy.
I'm just curious. I wanted to know your take about it. But basically, Diddy has been accused of doing certain things, and on social media, some people were quick to point out that the beloved megachurch pastor, TD Jakes, supposedly was involved at some parties with Diddy. Now, none of that has been substantiated or not, so I don't like dealing with rumors, but I can tell you it has been circulating around, and Jakes briefly mentioned it in his Christmas Eve sermon. He hinted at it. He didn't speak directly at it, but he basically said, I'm not worried. A pastor like me is worried about the orange alert, the terrorist alert. A freak doesn't have time to deal with this stuff. Basically, he was going in on it. Now, I say allegedly. You see, I'm careful with my words because I don't want Diddy to sue me. I don't want Diddy or TD Jakes suing me. But they were trying to say because Diddy was hanging out with Pastor Jakes, that stuff was going on. I can't say that. I won't say it, but here's a clip of TD Jakes. Now, I got to warn you guys. I don't think it's not playing. Do you have an Apple?
I don't have an Echo.
No, I didn't say that. An Apple computer, laptop.
Yeah, I have an Apple.
Yeah, it's doing this spin wheel thing.
You logged in or come in out of concern. Some of you come in to hear what I'm going to say. All of you who expect me to address a lie, you can log off. I will not use it.
Looks like he belongs on an Atlanta wedding cake.
Day at this sacred pulpit to address a lie when I have a chance to preach a truth. I will stand straight up, head up, back straight, and
booty out,
preach the unadulterated and infallible word of God. Because that is what the pulpit is for. But there will be a time.
I'm just joking. I don't want his people coming at me. Shit. I got enough being shadow banned. But obviously, Sean, you don't have a comment on it because you don't know much about it. But I didn't, if you could speak in general, certainly about rumors and stuff like that. I think we also have to be cautious because if we don't know all the facts and stuff, you get something wrong and you may end up like Tasha K. But
yeah, well, I'd rather just not say anything because the best thing to do in this case is not say anything.
Right.
I mean, TD Jakes, P. Diddy, we don't really know what's going on. Nothing has been confirmed. And I'm going to be careful and not say anything about this because I need to get more details before I say anything about this whole situation.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, I was just cracking a joke on that part.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I've always said a man is innocent till proven guilty. He hasn't been charged with anything. I think what I do see is that there are a lot of people, like with Diddy, there are a lot of people, even with a pastor like T.D. Jakes, who have a resentment, I think, to a lot of the mega church pastors, a lot to Christianity in general, that like to attack another person because they have a personal grudge on them. I don't do that. So, but at any rate, Sean, this is our final Random Topic Thursday of 2023. And 2023 has been a very interesting year, challenging year for me. Uh, I don't know, and I'm sure it's been good to you, but I thank you for being with me this whole time.
No, I'm glad I could be here for you.
Yeah, thank y'all. Thank you. And Sunday, what I'm going to be doing, because Sunday is New Year's Eve, I will be doing, I guess, the top 10 news stories of 2023 with you all. I probably won't do it late in the night because everybody's got probably a New Year's Eve party that they want to do and stuff with their family. But we're going to try and do it at a reasonable time. I'm going to have our top topics that we did. And Sean, you're welcome to come on if you would like. I would love to have you.
No, I'll think about it.
Okay, well, understood. Well, at any rate, Sean, just stay on for a second before I go log off, ladies and gentlemen. If you all love me for my time, pay me for my time. By the way, you can drop something in the Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you hit that like, share, and subscribe button, that's the only way we can defeat this shadow man that we have on YouTube to attract more people. If you like to advertise with my channel, you can hit me up at gavin.jewish1@gmail.com. Also, if you have not, it is still a Christmas season. Buy Be My Baby for Christmas on iTunes right now, ladies and gentlemen. It's a hit song. I've gotten a lot of views on YouTube. I want to say close to 314 for this breakout song and more to come. So appreciate if y'all would listen to it. Sean, with that, we're going to wrap it up and tune into Sean's live stream, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. All right. Thank you all. And Sean, if you could stay on with me before I end the stream. All right. Be one, be safe, and be blessed. I'll holla. Peace.
All
Love
right.
y'all, family. Shout out to Keating Rock, Snuggle 668, Derek Bailey, and CC, as well as Danielle Meyer, Computer Robots. We love y'all. Thank y'all for being with us. Peace out, family. Killer Sai salute.